All right, welcome everybody. Here's what we're kind of looking at. Notice we had this trend channel. You can pretty well draw parallel lines up through the bottoms and the top. So that's your channel everybody's watching. Except look what we can see clearly happened right here mid-range of this channel, or coming back to test the low. Our Morningstar signal, and then there was consolidation on Friday. Looked like it closed just about the halfway point, enough to say, all right, it's going to move in the direction how they opened it on Monday. When they brought it back up today, that's basically confirming our signal. Remember what our simple analysis of a trend is. If you see a candlestick buy signal and a close above the T-line, and especially if your stochastic's down near the lower end of the range, that tells us we're probably in an uptrend. So right now, we've got to kind of assume we're back in an uptrend as long as the indexes stay back up above the T-line, which makes our analysis that if this was down to the bottom, back up to the top, back down to the bottom, back up to the top, halfway down and starting back up, now we analyze what our latest wave pattern is. And this is why I use the 1, 2, 3 pattern. This is wave 1, this is wave 2, and we're going into wave 3. If we know wave 1 and wave 3 are equivalent, and we know this is not going to hold as a resistance anymore, that we should be heading up into new high territory. And that was not pretty self-evident. If you add the analysis of the NASDAQ, which broke out of this wedge formation, came back and did kind of a Morningstar signal, and now that doji, not doji, but pretty much a doji spinning top gap up through the T-line. This also puts us in a very convincing J-hook pattern to the upside. So the assumption has to be we're starting back in an uptrend, that we want to start whatever short positions we had in our portfolio. If we want to, and we'll get to those should probably start being covered on any signs of strength and or other indication, which we'll take a look at. Let's see, things like crude oil. I mean, this is kind of where you observe the obvious. The obvious is the downtrend hit the resistance level here at the 50 and is doing that slow curve. Where's the next likely target? It could be down into this range, basically down at the bottom of this trend channel. Okay, good, Ed. Yeah, my problem playing golf was I was always standing too close to the ball after I hit it. So crude oil prices still heading down. What's that do to WLL? We'll take a look at that in a little bit. Now here's the analysis part that you have to kind of use your judgment, which is coffee came down, did a bearish or a bullish harami, came up, failed at the T-line, came back down, and now closed up strong today above the T-line. However, notice what type of signal it did today. Notice what type of signal it did today. Nothing signal. Oh, I have to take the opportunity, Ed, to tell you about a buddy of mine. One time we were playing out on the 18th hole, and he's kind of a rough guy, used rough language. But as we were playing on the 18th hole, we looked up, and along the road there was a funeral going by. And he all of a sudden stopped and took off his cap and put it over his heart. And we were just flabbergasted. And we said, well, Bob, never knew that you were that respectful for the dead. He goes, yeah, we would have been married 43 years next month. So anyways, there wasn't really a reversal signal. So this will be important to see see where they open this tomorrow. Yes, you're starting to get bottoming action, but it still hasn't had a reversal signal. So on a day like this, I will still hold on to any positions or be ready if I cover my short position based on the 10-minute chart, be ready to re-short it because it hasn't done a reversal. Because there is no signal here. This is a signal. This is your bullish harami telling you the selling has stopped. This is a non-signal. This is not a signal at all. That's just an up day. So as long as it's just an up day, you got to remember, we still got the predominant factor that we're in a steady downtrend. Now they've had an up day is not a reversal signal. Now that's not really a morning star signal. Remember, a morning star signal is a big down day, a day of indecision, and then a big up day. This is just an up day, nothing more than that. So I'll be watching to see how they open this tomorrow, because if they bring this right back down and close back below the T-line, this downtrending channel is still in progress. If I've liquidated more than half the position today, if they open up positive tomorrow, I'll close out the rest of the position, because now that becomes not a good directional trade, and I'll just wait to see if they bring it back down through back down through the T-line. I'm reading, is coffee similar as February 2nd? Yeah, so it might have a little bit of a pop, which means they could pop it up to here, to this downtrending channel. So if I see them opening positive today or tomorrow, I'll close out all the position and then go to something else until that until it bottoms out or tops out again. Richard, doesn't matter whether you're new or old. Ask any questions in here, because that's all part of the learning process for everybody. And while you're typing in your question, Nini, long-term to me is longer than 2 months. Yeah, we'll get to WL here in a little bit. Let's see, what else do I want to show? Oh, the dollar is still climbing, but notice what we have. Fry pan bottom. Now it's looking a little bit toppy, so what can we expect? Maybe a J-hook pattern. So if I was long the dollar, which I'm not, but I'm getting ready to, if they pull it back to the T-line and do a J-hook, then we know that wave 3 is in progress. Double bottom. Which one, Jim, you always have to comment on which one you're referring to. Oh, coffee? Yeah, it could be a double bottom. W has a takeoff or spec right now. Therefore, headline risk reward. Yeah, the Porky, there is yeah, that was the rumor on Friday that there was a potential takeover. But we're not buying. I'll move right to WL. Yeah, let me get to the WLL. It's going to be here in a minute. Well, I guess we're almost done with the stocks. Let's take a look at some of the others real quick. Gold, as you can see, cannot get back up above the T-line, which also silver is having a hard time getting up above the T-line. The 30-year bonds, '30-year notes on the May or June contract, kind of a bullish harami confirmation. Right now, notice that it did break this downtrending channel, so I would suspect your next target is the 50-day moving average. Oh, let's see. Richard, you can ask your technical question. I'm still waiting for your technical question. That's why I'm kind of going slow and hemming and hawing here. Did you have time to put a day trading webinar together? Yeah, Gordon, we'd had that Saturday. 2 hours. Oh, let's see. Chris, I'll have to go back and see which one is it. Somebody remember what Chris was that we had on a couple of months ago? Yeah, the Saturday webinar was recorded. On coffee, wasn't there a bearish? Bah. Wasn't there a bearish coffee just prior to the non-signal? Yes. So the two things that you had to look for at this point was, were they going to break this level right here and trade lower? I closed out part of the position when it came back up above today's or Friday's open. Closed out more of it. It came up through the T line, and so I've got just about a third of it left. That if it doesn't open, or if it opens lower, I'll start re-shorting it if it comes back down through the T line. If it opens higher, I'll close out the position. Let's see, wasn't there a signal TB long dollar at beginning of the month of March? AB, you type like I type. The dollar. Well, the dollar had your fry pan bottom, and I don't know whether that was a bullish engulfing signal, but it gave you the impression they were coming back up above the T line, so that was going to be the next wave. But the big important factor was that you had this fry pan bottom breaking out right about this level. Okay, Chris Verhey, that's right. All right, yes. Okay, Richard, I'm still looking for yours, so don't be afraid to ask questions in here. Okay, I got enthusiastic with OPK seeing that the chairman had bought 1.5 billion out of 400 million and bought June options, which have a big spread. I know I shouldn't get emotional, but I did. Any comments? Okay, we'll get to that one as we go through. MP, I only use 1, 2, and 3 because I'm not going to be in a position any more than the current trade. So right now, let's say, for example, the dollar's coming out of a fry pan bottom, and it might be doing a J-hook. I know if a J-hook supports back here on the T line, this becomes my wave 1. That became my wave 2. Now I'm trading wave 3. When it's done with wave 3, it might look like this, and then I'll wait for wave 2 and then go into wave 3 or in the opposite direction. I don't count wave of the Elliott waves 4, 5, 6, 7. I've discovered I'm a member of the Market Technicians Association, and I can remember having meetings in Houston. You could put 10 Elliott wave people in a room, show them a chart, and ask them which wave they're on, and you can come up with 40 different answers from 10 people. So there was really nothing concrete about Elliott wave. I'm just interested in what our patterns tell us, that we've got a strong price move out of a fry pan bottom. If it pulls back, we're going to go into wave 3. That's all I really care about, because I'm only going to trade wave 3 if I didn't trade wave 1. I was told to be on the right side of a trend above the 50 as up, below 50 is down. your T-line doesn't follow this rule when you're using the T-line. Does it bypass? Yes. We're not trading the moving averages. We're trading the price. So the moving averages aren't an indicator of what's happening in the stock right now. So there's going to be a lot of times that you've had a strong downtrend, going to be well below the 50-day moving average. We're more interested in what the price is doing, because the price might come back up and use the 50-day moving average as a resistance, but it might be a 30% move on something to come back up to the 50-day moving average. So, yeah, Richard, you're going to kind of see a lot of different elements that are much more accurate, but they're more accurate because they're using everybody else's, trading programs that about the moving averages. We're using the information that's the accumulative knowledge of everybody buying and selling out there, and trading the moving averages isn't one of them. It's the signal. And then we use the moving averages as a place where we know everybody else is watching to see what's going on in that price movement. Let's see. All right, where are we on the dollar? Yeah, it was more a buy signal in the sense that it came up above the T line and it broke out after some dojis right here. That would have been my breakout level, telling me that they're confirming the fry pan bottom. How do you get Saturday recording, Luciano? I don't know, but if you email Abraham at candlestickforum.com, he'll get it to you. Right now, I would be short soybeans, because if you look at the overall chart on soybeans, essentially it's in a downtrend, had a big evening star signal at the 50. You're trading below the T-line, and your stochastics are still heading down, even though in the oversold area. But we're getting right back to this bottom, so what you have to watch to see if they're going to do buy signals. If they do buy signals right here, what's it telling you in the oversold area? That's where they're bottoming out at the previous support level. If they don't support here, what's that telling you? That's telling you probably got a trend channel that looks something like this. Now, the next target is down here someplace. Oh, let's take a look at the lean hogs. Stay short on this one. Same scenario. Look where it failed. Smack dab at the 50, and then did your bearish harami telling you the buying had stopped. Stay short. Even though you're in the oversold area, where's the likely target? You could pretty well draw a line to the bottom of the trend channel, somewhere down here. Live cattle, looks like it's turning over. And notice the type of signal setup it's giving you. Stochastics rolling over. You've had a doji bearish confirmation, closed right on the T-line. Today you've got a doji. Let's make this bigger so we're not squinting like I have to. Makes this very simple. If they open this lower tomorrow, you've got the probabilities that it's going to move in the direction of how they open it, which means you probably have a doji sandwich setting up, which means you aren't supporting anymore at the 50. More than likely, you're coming back down to this level. And thank you for making me look at that one. That might be a good short tomorrow on weakness. Putting a little star next to that one. If you need the scanning software, email Abraham at candlestickforum.com. All right, let me scroll all the way down here. We're going to have to get started. We're already at 8:30. We're just starting. Oh, you ask your question at, I hope I got it. Yes, so we're not trading off the moving averages. We're using the moving averages to tell us whether they're going to act as support and resistance. For example, here's a chart that tells you exactly what happened. Bullish harami. You're in a downtrending 50-day moving average, but you would have had a move right here that would have probably, for each contract, picked up about $3,000 on an $1,800 contract, or margin requirement. Do you use options to purchase commodities? No. Not that I wouldn't, William, I just don't have the time to add. I'm making enough money just trading the options themselves. I don't know. Can somebody answer Crucible? I know we can do it in Thinkorswim. That's why I use them, because I can move money back and forth. Is the inverted hammer a spinning top on soybeans at oversold? It could be, but it looks like after hours they're still trading it down. So the question is, are they going to support at this level? Or are they going to do a bearish doji sandwich, which means they're going to break this level and head on down to this level, which right now I would be more apt to think they're ready to break that support level. I asked earlier, but the wave of questions swamped me. Okay, Paul, sorry about that. Again, can you speak of the doji sandwich and how to interpret it? I can. Here's a doji sandwich right here. It's a big day, and then all of a sudden the next day is a doji, indecisive. And there's a very simple rule of the doji. It's usually going to move in the direction how they open it after a doji. So if they open it lower, again, you had an indication that they were probably going to take it down because you're up here in the overbought condition, and then you have a bearish engulfing signal, a doji. So if this was in an uptrend, our simple rule of doji says it will move in the direction how they open it. So we better see this open positive and trade positive to tell us the uptrend's in progress. If it opens lower, it's telling us we're taking it down, and usually this day right here is the same magnitude as this day right here, thus the doji sandwich. There's the doji in between the two big pieces of bearish signals, and it will occur the same way. We'll find some, we have some to look at here on the on some of the bullish charts. This is the 10-year note, staying above the T line, looking like it's heading up to the 50. See if we did silver, gold. Wheat showing strength. Usually, there's your kind of your little morning star close above the T line, breaking this downward trend channel. My first target would be watching the 50, which isn't that far away. And corn, kind of the same scenario, except going the opposite direction. Kind of a rounding top. If it breaks this level here. Now, this is your setup for a doji sandwich. Notice you had a big down day, an indecisive trading day. If they open this, right now it's open after hours, but if they start selling off this tomorrow, then you suspect you're going to have the same magnitude move as this, which means if they brought it down here, they're pretty well testing or breaking the downtrending or the support level. Feeder cattle, same scenario. The May contract, I'm guessing that is F.FC. No, it would be the April's. So let's take a look at GFJ5s. That's a little bit more active. Notice how it's failed. Evening star signal right here, smack dab at the 200-day moving average. If this opens lower tomorrow, first target is the 50. So I'd be going short. So to be clear, it doesn't matter whether the price around the T-line is up or down. Here's how I've been trading. The price forms under the 50 MAI, wait for the price to go through the T-line and then reach the 50 before I take up. You're going to be way behind. Notice you had a buy signal here, and then this has just happened to be on this chart. There's your bullish Harami with a close above the T-line. Look how far you are below the T-line. This was the buy signal. Where was our first target once it closed above the T-line? The 50. So At that point, we saw we had a doji sandwich. Here's the bullish doji sandwich. A big day, a doji, and they open up positive the next day. What's that pretty much tell us about the 50? Well, if this day right here is the same magnitude as this day right here, the 50 is not going to act as resistance, which makes the 200 our next target. So that would be a prime example of why you don't wait for it to get above the 50, because you're going to be way behind. This is what everybody else is watching. What is it going to do once it gets to the 50? Well, we're buying based upon very simple elements that have worked for hundreds of years. There's the buy signal. There's the close above the T-line. Not that the T-line was used for hundreds of years, but there was the buy signal, double bottom. Yeah, I wouldn't. You're already at a higher risk trade if you were waiting for it to close above the 50. We were buying down here and then seeing what happens at the 50. Let's see. Yeah, so anyways, it will, using the signals, remember this right here or this right here told you that there was a high probability. The Japanese rice traders make it very simple. If you see a candlestick buy signal in an oversold condition, the probabilities are that you're in an uptrend. Conversely, if you see a candlestick sell signal in the overbought condition, probabilities you're now in a downtrend. Can you comment on the NASDAQ? Closed barely above the T-line. It got smacked down in after hours. Is that the NASDAQ? I don't have any credence. Is this what we're referring to? Is the NASDAQ? Let's see, NDX. Let's see, go back to 828. Once the doji switch has the 3 candles, is there still an indication of direction or not? So once the doji has its 3 candles, doji sandwich has its 3 candles. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, the follow-through on a doji sandwich is, and I forget which one we were looking at, was it that there is going to be more upside. So that's one of the kind of the rules of thumb, that if you see a doji sandwich, more than likely there's going to be, the probabilities are there's going to be more upside. Okay, let's get to a few stocks, and I'll try to answer some of the questions as we're going through. When do you 15-minute charts, does that mean we buy or sell at the charting day? If not, what, I don't know what a charting day is. Okay, hold on to your individual stocks. We're going to be going through a few, and then when Jim says, when I tell Jim to do the double line, that's when you type in your individual stock questions. Okay, there's the gap up on BONT. And this is very simple. Notice how big the move is. This becomes very simple. This is your strongest reversal signal, is the kicker signal. You just stay long in this one until you see a sell signal. Now, I've had a few people say, well, why didn't you push CEMP a little bit harder, because it's doing great. There's nothing to push. Once we're buying, and you see on the recommendation to buy, we know we have one very simple criteria for selling. We have to see a close, a candlestick sell signal, and a close below the T-line. And as you can see, there hasn't been one. That was our same criteria for SWKS. Once we saw the fry pan bottom breakout, there hasn't been any selling. Somebody asked in the chat room today, said, do you hold on to long positions when the market is going against you? And this is a perfect example of why you hold on to a long position, as long as it's not closing below the T-line, even when, during that time frame, the Dow was to selling off like this. If you use the just that simple rule of a buy signal and a close above the T line, and you stay long until you see a candlestick sell signal and a close back below the T line, you'll make very good money. And I say that because being one of the worst investors in the world before candlesticks came along, I started making good money using candlesticks. But then when one of my students, Rick Sadler, said, take a look at the T-line, or at that time we didn't call it the T-line. He said, look at the 8 exponential moving average. If you see something close above the T-line or the 8 exponential, you hang on to it until it closes. Now, the nice thing about candlesticks is we know the candlestick signals work. So we can add anything to the chart and take it back off if it's not working well. But so when I added it and started trading it, I saw that it did work, and not only did my my correct trade ratio improve, but my profitability improved, because even though there were times when I saw sell signals, all I had to do was hang on as long as it didn't close below the T-line. And or if I took profits up here and then saw it was holding on the T-line, I could always buy back. So here's another one, CLDX. It's been touted around in the chat room quite a bit. Very simple. Once it broke out, we're in a 45 degree. You just stay long as that closes above the T-line. And GGAL bought it on the J-hook. Why? Because there's a fry pan bottom. There's your wave 1. There's your wave 2. How long is wave 3 expected? About the same magnitude as wave 1. So this is the, again, the great benefit of candlesticks is it gives you a kind of a roadmap of what the probabilities are going to be. Paul, just put it on your chart. On any of your charts, you can go in and say, all right, I want to add a moving average, and they'll ask, what do you want to do? And you just put in the 8 and then click on exponential. Let's see. Do you always look at the daily charts and it close below the T line before getting out of a trade? Yes. Unless we're in a situation where we're way, way up above the T line and also way above the 3T line. I mean, we've kind of skyrocketed. Now, I don't have one to show right now, but if we start moving exponentially away from the T line, then I flip to my 10-minute chart, and I'll watch the 10-minute chart as long as it stays above the T-line. As soon as it comes back below the T-line, I'll take my profits, because the 10-minute charts tell me that's way above the T-line on the daily. The 10-minute chart becomes much more effective. Judy, I would say, I don't know, what was this? From approximately, let's say, 17 to 22.5, 5.5 points. 5.5 points here takes me up to about, I would say, 26.5. With a close below the T-line, do you wait until the next day open to close a position or close in after-hours trading? Usually the next day is open. If I've got a long price move like this, and let's say, for example, instead of this trading up today, it closed right about here, just below the T-line. My first analysis has to be, well, it's held the T-line all this time. I'll give it one more day, but that has to be that it has to open positive and trade positive to stay in it. Okay, ADAX, ADXS, how's that? Coming out of the fry pan bottom, did kind of a J-hook, open positive but closed lower. Just one simple analysis. It needs to open positive and trade positive to stay in it tomorrow. If it opens lower, where are they coming back to? Probably coming back to test the T-line. So since we were buying it down in this range, we'll take profits and see what it does once it comes back to the T-line. TTPH. Another one that, because it, notice that it started doing buy signals in the oversold area down here. So if we're buying, what's our first resistance to look at? The T-line, which in this case coincided with the 50. Wanted to see what it did at the 50. So if I was buying here, or even buying on this day, if it closed back below the T-line, I may have held on to it one more day, but the next day had to open positive and trade positive. If it opened lower after kind of a shooting star day, if it had closed back below the T-line, that tells me the T-lines and the 50 is still acting as a resistance. You want to be right back out of it. Thank you, Eddie. Yeah, you might have to look under moving average exponential. They have it kind of termed backwards. Oh, let's see. We're still long NVAX because notice what it's done. I mean, this is how I count my waves. There's wave 1, there's wave 2, bullish engulfing, J-hook pattern. There's wave 3. What's this? Starting over here. Well, now I look at it that this is wave 1, this is wave 2. Wave 3 should be the same magnitude as this wave right here. So you stay long on this one as long as it stays above the T-line. Yes, a morning, which one did you say? Morning star is a positive reversal, and a evening star is a bearish reversal. And I'll see if I can point out the morning star signals here. OPK, same chart setup. Wave 1, wave 2, starting wave 3. You stay long on this one as long as it stays above the T-line. PTL was one that we had mentioned a while back. This probably is now a wave 1. Notice all the dojis on the pullback telling you there wasn't very decisive selling. And what was the decision after this indecision? They're coming back up. I would not be afraid to be buying this one, because if this now is a J-hook, there's wave 1, which went from 28 to 42, 14 points. 14 points from here takes you up into the $54 area. For bull put spreads on SPX, would you use the T-line for the short leg? Oh, James, let me get to that later. Halo. There's that slow curve. This is your perfect setup. If this opens positive tomorrow, you want to be buying, because it pretty much tells you that this resistance level is not acting as resistance. But if this is wave 1, this is wave 2, wave 3 on a bullish doji sandwich, that if they open up positive, this candle and this candle will be approximately the same, which means they've broken out. If they've broken out, now you've got a potential move like this. This is where investor sentiment is building up, and these are the type of patterns you definitely want to be in. This is the slow curve, and if they break out, that's usually where you get these big, powerful moves. And SRNE was also a steady eddy, and today it opened positive, but closed back here. That pretty much told us this is kind of your dark cloud, almost bullish engulfing. If this was a J-hook pattern, it should have been breaking out to the upside. This one we closed out today because it's pretty much telling us that the sellers or the buyers are gone. The sellers have taken control. It might come back, but we need to see that pattern. So we don't know whether they're going to bring it back in this direction, go sideways, or go up at this point. So close out the position, because at this point there's better places to have your money. This one was a kind of a strong sell signal. Now there's some good charts out there. Oh, Pshaw, TTW. Oh, that's too many symbols. Oh, that's why. TWOU. There's that kind of that double bottom slow curve. There's your doji sandwich. Big day, doji, big day. And then what do we expect after doji sandwich? More upside. And, whoops, who wrote this stuff? Terrible handwriting. BBSI, we recommended a few days ago, because notice where the breakout was. There's your fry pan bottom slow curve. There's kind of your doji sandwich breakout right here at the 200. So everybody and their brother that's watching to see if it's going to get through the 200 or not, we knew it was going through based upon the positive open after a doji type day that was supporting on the T-line. This is basically not only is your fry pan bottom, but also your T-line crunch. Notice how they couldn't close it back below the T-line, and they crunched it up through that level. Now, they did a bearish engulfing signal today, but they closed it right on the 3T. Makes it very simple. If they open it lower, they're probably doing some profit taking back to the T-line. A strong uptrend would tell us that they open positive and start moving positive from there. Where do you get these stocks from? Very simple scanning techniques. It takes less, depending on any scanning technique, with the candlestick formulas in there, in less than 20 minutes each day. When you're inexperienced, you're going to find the best 2, 3, 5 trades for the next day. Once you start recognizing the signals and patterns, it'll probably take less than 10 minutes each day to start scanning out of the 8,700 trading entities out there, where you can get the best trades. And these are ones that we've been following. Now, this one we've been following because in our long-term picks area, we started buying whiting. We started buying whiting a while back, had to lighten up on it because it was just getting creamed. They were throwing the baby out with the bathwater on the oils. But as we can see, they started bottoming this. And let's make this bigger. On Friday, apparently there was rumors that Exxon was interested in this one. So we've been buying this one. Notice what it does with the moving averages. Came up through the 50, which had been acting as resistance, came right smack dab to the 50. You saw your little inverted hammer. Make this bigger again. And bullish trading, which told us exactly what we expected or anticipated, that they supported on the T-line, or I'm sorry, on the 50, came back above the T-line. Right now you want to be buying this one. As long as they can't close this below the T-line, and especially if they break this out through this level, I think the next target would be this gap up here, which takes you up to the $62 range. But this is one that we've been recommending long-term because they're right in the middle of the Balkan field up there in North Dakota, and they've probably got huge reserves because that field right now is being estimated to be as big as all the fields in Texas. Okay, let's see what else we can. So, what was the question on WLL? I forgot. Can't see the stock symbol. The stock symbol is right up here. Can you see that? WLL. That's why I usually repeat it as we do it. Let's see. NRX was closed out on Friday because if this was strong signals, they shouldn't be closing back below the T-line, which they did. Now, this is what we call the left-right combo, which is a very strong, in this case, sell signal. The left-right combo is a doji followed by a bearish engulfing signal. That alone told us we want to be out of this position because it's probably got more downside. And let's see. Well, Pascal here. Let's see. TTS. Notice where this supported, right smack dab off the 200. So once they came up and they breach a resistance level, they'll come back and see if it's going to act as support. In this case, we can see there's a J-hook type pattern setting up. There's your doji sandwich. Bullish day, doji, bullish day. What do we anticipate after a doji sandwich? More upside. More upside tells us this is definitely breaking this downward trend channel. This could be wave 3, which would be the same magnitude as wave 1. Let's see. No, this isn't the 15-minute chart, Ralph. This is, I'm using CQG, which is kind of the grandfather of the charting services. It's just delayed by 15 minutes during the day when you're trading stocks. Now, I've got it. I don't pay for the stock charts on here because I get them on all the other services, but I trade my commodities off of these charts. But it's just delayed on the stocks, which doesn't matter after hours because there's no trading going on. Kendai. Kendai did the kicker signal gap up, and notice where it closed, right smack dab on the 200. If it opens positive, what's it telling us? Whoops, that's going the wrong way. Pretty much telling us that this resistance level right here is not acting as resistance. And what do we expect from a kicker signal? That's your strongest signal of all. I would be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow, and I would just set my stop at today's open, because if it came back down through there, that tells me the bearers are still in control for the short term, and they failed at the 200-day moving average. But I would definitely be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow, because it would tell me they're still continuing above the 200-day moving average, which has been acting as kind of a resistance level. TA, there's your little morning star signal. And there's your left-right combo. This is what we call a little stutter step. It pulled back and then hit another buy signal. Your morning star signal, which is a down day, a day of indecision, and the third day comes up and closes more than halfway up this candle. In this case, they closed it back above the 50. They closed it right on the T-line, which told us if they opened positive the next day, they were confirming the signal and telling us the T-line's not acting as a resistance anymore, and that this little downtrending channel isn't acting as a resistance. We're probably in the next wave. Where is it possibly going? Well, you got this upward trend channel. More than likely, this is your first target, somewhere up in this range. You put a stop below the prior day's open versus prior day's close. If I'm in the overbought condition, and we'll get to, well, let's see, just SWKS. Yeah, notice that we're in the overbought condition. We're in a steady uptrend. Where's my safest place right now to put a stop? Don't have any sell signal yet, but I put my stop because I'm in the overbought condition at the previous day's low. It shouldn't come back below that level. All right, thanks, Don. TA's got earnings coming out. CS, or they came out. All right. Another doji type sandwich, J-hook pattern. Wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one because wave one. Notice this is your morning star signal. Now, a morning star signal is a big down day and a day of indecision, or 2 days of indecision. And the third day closes more than halfway up this candle. And look at this one, close above the T-line. Opens positive the next day. This is where you get rid of the fear. Boy, I don't want to be buying this one with it already up 3, 5, 10, 15, 20%. You do if it's coming off a signal, because that tells you there's probably going to be a lot more upside. Will your stop working after hours trading? I don't usually put stock stops. No, they don't work in after hours trading on stocks. They will work in after hours trading on commodities. Let's see. We got a bunch more. We're not even scratching the surface yet here. Cuba. You can be buying this one on positive trading. JDST. Notice the J-hook type setup. Came out of that slow curve. Anytime you see this, they pop it. That's where you make a ton of money buying calls right here, because the worst case scenario is they open it lower, it fizzled, you close out the trade. If they go through, you're usually going to get a very strong price move, and this is what we call the bobble. Notice it came up to a resistance level, did a bearish engulfing signal, but notice where it's supported, right smack dab on the T-line. They can't close it below the T-line. What's that tell you? If they come back up through the 200, you want to be buying immediately, because now you have a J-hook pattern and telling you they aren't going to close below the T-line. Let's see, MANH, bullish engulfing signal, doji sandwich, bullish confirmation, breaking this downtrending channel. I hate that thing. Where are we going now? Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 should be the same move as this one right here. XLNX. Kicker type signal. J-hook pattern. Where's the next likely target? Probably the 200-day moving average. The kicker signal, again, your strongest of all the signals. It doesn't need to even pay attention to stochastics. ISIL. Doji, bullish confirmation. Where did it do it? Right smack dab off of 50 that had been acting as support. Where's the next likely target? Draw your trend channel. You can see you can draw a trend line right up through the bottom and draw one right through the top, practically parallel to each other. That makes your next target somewhere up in this range at the top of this trend channel. Go-Go. J-hook pattern. Doji sandwich. There's your left-right combo. Your left-right combo is a doji followed by a bullish engulfing signal. So what's that tell us when they pulled back and did a left-right combo? Pretty much told us that this was a strong buy signal right off the T-line. They're not coming back below the T-line. Doji sandwich breaking out through this level. What's that tell us? That tells us the J-hook pattern's in progress. We know we're going to have more upside because it's a doji sandwich, which means we've got wave one, 6 points. That could take us up into about the $26, $27 range. What am I doing? AVGO. Another J-hook pattern coming off a doji sandwich, telling you they aren't closing below the T-line. This one you can be buying. Obviously at $130, I'd probably be buying the options. Boston Scientific, BSX, kicker signal, J-hook pattern. This one you buy on positive trading tomorrow. And just use probably today's open as your stop. Look, SKYW. SKYW also breaking out through kind of a J-hook pattern. Wave one, wave two, going into wave three. I would suspect that if this was a 3-point move, we're heading up into the $19 range. Go-Go, is there any signal with two dojis versus one doji, and do you wait for a positive open on the third day? Go-Go. Is there any signal with two dojis? No. All it's really telling you when it pulled back and you saw a couple of dojis was what's the doji illustrate? Indecision between all these between the bulls and the bears, and what are they doing right here at the T line? Elsie, hold on to your individual stocks until I tell Jim to do the double line. Then you type in what you want to see. So this basically tells us the left-right combo, doji sandwich, J-hook pattern, all telling us there's probably more upside. So right now, the fry pan bottoms are working extremely well. This is what we're expecting out of a fry pan bottom, are these strong price moves. Notice the big rounding bottom. You couldn't trade this one way or the other, no how, until they broke out here. That tells us there's going to be a strong price move. Jiva, same scenario. I wouldn't be afraid to be buying calls on this one. Now, remember, we just went through looking at all the signals that are happening in the oversold area. Look where a fry pan usually breaks out, when your stochastics are already up in the overbought condition. Did you use the hook scan specifically to find these? Judy, usually they are a result of a previous move, which is coming out of a strong price move. Let's see. For example, there was a strong price move right here, and then we saw this pulling back. Usually I'll find these on a very simple scan of the biggest percent price move during the day. I see that day. What's that telling me? I can go back and see that this was a fry pan or a J-hook pattern breakout. So it's not that difficult to find these at all. And the reason we use the J-hook so often is because they occur quite often. And that's usually because we're already finding the strong price move. There's your big fry pan bottom. There's your wave two. Notice what they couldn't do here at the T-line. Look how indecisive and flat it was. Now we're into wave three. ESPR we recommended this morning because there's your fry pan bottom, and there it broke out on Friday. And notice what it did today. A doji makes this very simple. If they open this positive tomorrow, you've got a doji sandwich, same magnitude as this. That means we're definitely into wave 3, same magnitude as this. What is the most reliable reversal signal? They're all reliable, Pork. All depends on where you are in the market. Now, we've also quantified them. For example, a doji followed by a gap up is your best friend. That's usually going to have a very strong price move. The left-right combo, a doji followed by a bullish engulfing signal, a very strong price move. We know that the fry pan bottom breakout is a very strong price move. And the J-hook pattern gives you very high probability, not only high probability trades, but the trades will usually also be very profitable. So what we're looking for in a uptrending market, very simple. All boats rise in a rising tide. We're looking for the boats that are rising a lot faster than the other ones, and those are usually coming off of patterns, because if we know what wave 1 was, we know what wave 3 is on a J-hook, which is usually another strong price move. We can see on Coop, we got a big fry pan bottom and a doji today, which makes this very simple. They open this positive tomorrow, you want to be buying, because even from here back up to the top of this level, is it going to be at least a 10%, if not greater, just to get to the breakout area. So if this fails, you could still have a possibility of making 6, 8, 10% on a failed trade. If it goes through, now you've got the potential of being up 30, 35%. You give, bathroom break. No, you have to jump up fast and get back fast. It doesn't matter what time frame you trade for the signals. Nope. I used to trade the E-minis off a 1 minute, 3 minute, 10-minute chart combination. I've got people in long-term positions that we use the daily, weekly, monthly positions. I'm a swing trader, so I'm using the daily chart, and if the daily chart starts getting real exuberant, I flip to my 10-minute chart. I'm usually day trading or short-term swing trading commodities using the 10-minute chart. And when I see the 10-minute chart set up, I drop down to my 5-minute and my 1 minute to see when the appropriate time is for getting in and out of the position. And we kind of went through that a little bit over in the day trading session on Saturday. Net links, as we can see what's happening here. We've got wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. Now we got wave 1, wave 2, going into wave 3. Why do we like these waves? Because that tells us the uptrend is pretty strong, because as it's moving up, they're consolidating. Moving up, consolidating, moving up. That's right. As you go through the stocks, could you highlight any good candidates for day trading tomorrow? Well, when you saw some of these where you had a doji, and I can't remember which ones they were, if it opens positive, you can be day trading those immediately on positive trading tomorrow, provided we're not waking up and seeing that the pre-market futures in the Dow is down 70 points or 100 points. As long as the market seems to be moving in the bullish direction, you can be buying those right away. Now, when to take profits? We were short away because it was trading below the T line, but notice we had doji, and notice where we are. This is what our suspect was. But if we're in the oversold area and we're seeing dojis, where should we be closing out? If it trades back up above the doji high of yesterday or a Friday, and definitely if it closed up above the T line. That tells us we're losing our trajectory down here in the oversold area. Now this, instead of being a short, now becomes a potential buy. Same thing with STX. We've been short this one for a while, ever since the shooting star that failed at the 50, the gap down below the T line. And then we had kind of a meeting line. Notice we had a bullish day, a day of indecision. Then they open it lower and close right back up to the same place they've closed it for the last 3 days. Well, Friday was telling us up, we're still in a downtrend. But what type of signal is this setting up for? Let me make this bigger. When they gap up above the previous day's open, and do a doji, that's setting up for your flutter kicker, which the kicker is your strongest signal. Your flutter kicker is, again, a simple rule of the doji. If they open positive tomorrow, they're probably going to be trading positive. And if they do, if you took out this little flutter in here, you essentially have a kicker signal, which is your strongest bullish signal. You definitely don't want to be short when you're seeing a very strong bullish signal setting up. So that's why we'd be covering the short. We've been short Cyber, but today it came up and did a doji in the oversold area. When do we cover our shorts? If they open this positive tomorrow, we cover our short spreads, and we've got good profits in them right now. It's got to close below 50 on Friday for our put spread to go from, I can't remember what we paid for it. Did we pay? I can't remember. I think I paid 85 cents for them. If it closes below $5 or below 50, then they've turned into $5. So, but if it opens positive tomorrow, they could be bouncing this back up, and instead of giving up the profits, we'll just close out the position. YRCW, we were short, but notice what it's doing. It did the bullish Harami. It hasn't been able to get above the T-line, but everything's leading to a suspicious factor that we're in the oversold area and they're not selling it off anymore. If this opens positive tomorrow, we close out the position. That's too much evidence that the selling is not there anymore. Is there no higher open on that previous stock? There is no higher open. There is no higher open. There is no, AB, I don't understand that. There is no higher open. Here is no higher. Here is no higher open. I don't remember. It closed down here and it opened above the previous day's open. AB, you've got me so confused. I just don't know what I'm doing. Anyways, this is setting up. If it opened positive tomorrow, you'd close out your short positions. Even today, you probably should have closed out the short positions. No, her open. No, I hear her open. No, AB, you got me really baffled now. SSYS, we recommended this going short if it opened weaker today, which it did, but it was on the basis that this is kind of a slow curve. The only way to stay short now is this has to open lower and trade lower. If it opens positive tomorrow, right about the same level it bottomed out before, you close out the short position. And we recommended HOLI because it was on a slow curve. And notice where the slow curve was occurring. They couldn't get back up above the T-line. So even though we were in an oversold condition, we were probably wave 1, wave 2 with a slow curve. Remember, that slow curve is a very high pressure move that if they open this lower tomorrow, there's still a good possibility they could crunch this to the downside pretty hefty. And we've been short GEOS ever since that gap down doji sandwich. Notice what it hasn't really been able to do, close back up above the T-line. Now there's a day right here where it closed up above the T-line, but it was very close. So what was our strategy? If it opened higher and started trading higher, you close it out. You can see they closed it right back below the T-line. We had a left-right combo right here, bullish or bearish confirmation today. We can still be shorting this one because we're probably wave 1, wave 2 going into wave 3. Okay, that's about all I have tonight. Let me see what questions. Do you reserve or do you go long? Do you reverse or do you go long on Seagate? Not until it gets back up above the T-line. If I'm short, I close out the short position. If it does confirm tomorrow by doing a bullish candle, I don't come in until I see it actually close above the T-line. Let's see. On 312, each of the indexes gapped up. Would these be considered best friend signals? Each of the, let's see, DJI. On 312, what is today? Well, this one didn't really gap up. Now the Dow has a hard time gapping because they open each of those 30 stocks not all at one time. It's usually staggered. But the NASDAQ, usually after they're trading after hours, when it gapped up today, that was a good bullish confirmation. Is that a bearish belt hold on SRNE? Not a huge bearish, no, because it's still in the trading range, but it's a significant signal. It's a bearish dark cloud because it closed more than halfway down the green candle of Friday, plus it needed to open positive and trade positive to stay above the T line. It closed back here. That's not a good setup. How do you trade the Federal Reserve comments coming out on Wednesday? I don't give a hoot. The market will tell me what they're doing. Remember, everything that's happening is already built into the market or being built into the market. Okay, let's see. Any more general questions on candlesticks? Can you describe a blue ice failure? Blue ice failure, let's see if this is a blue ice failure. A blue ice failure, yeah, this was kind of a blue ice failure, but usually what happens, it's got two targets. When it comes up, notice how the 50 was acting as support. It didn't here. And this was, again, this phrase was kind of coined by my late friend Dave Elliott of Wall Street Teachers. Coined this as a blue ice failure, where they've fallen through the ice, they've come up, they've failed to get through, they drowned, and they usually go to two targets, either the low or the next or the next support level, the 200-day moving average. This one hit the low, came back up. Now, a lot of people say, well, if you're buying here, where's your next target? I say, watch to see what it does at the 50. When I say watch to see what it does, we can tell based upon the type of signal that it does. I mean, if this was a bullish candle that went through, it tells us the 50 was not acting as resistance. It's done a doji. And what's our simple rule of a doji? If it opens lower tomorrow, you want to be out of this trade on the long side and see where it pulls back to. Do you buy at the open? If I see the market is opening positive and the stock that I'm looking at to buy is opening positive, yes, I'll usually buy within the first minute or two. If the market is opening positive and the stock is opening lower, I'll wait a few minutes to see if once they've opened it lower, the buying starts and brings it back up through the previous day's close. Then I'll start buying. Do you give more credence to a doji sandwich if it is oversold, or do stochastics matter in this case? Yeah, obviously, if you're in an oversold condition, a doji sandwich is worth more. But also, if it's confirming a pattern, that's why you want to recognize your pattern, the J-hook, the fry pan bottom, the cradle, the scoop, those type of patterns, so that you know that's confirming, because we know what to expect after a doji sandwich. There's going to be more upside. Who do I talk with to get info on scanning? Email abraham@candlestickforum.com. Do you ever go by highs and lows instead of open and close of a day? Well, that's what the tails tell us, but they're already built in. When we see a tail 2 times greater than the body in the oversold area, that's a hammer. If we see the shooting star, which is this type of signal, but it's happening in the overbought condition, yes, that tail tells you something. But they were the tails and the body is what forms the what type of signal is happening. Is it good to be in a company that is being bought out? Definitely. They're more than likely going to be bid up to a much higher price. Yeah, that's true too, Pork. Yeah, only if you've bought it at a price that's higher than the buyout. But I would suspect that Whiting, based upon their reserves, is probably worth a heck of a lot more than where it's trading. Okay, Jim, let's go ahead and do the double line. All right, and get ready to do the second double line. All right. APC. Morningstar type signal. You can be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow. Just make sure it gets up through the 50-day moving average, which would also tell you you're breaking this downward trend channel. Starbucks. Starbucks not a real exciting stock to trade, but it is in an uptrend. You stay long on this as long as it stays above the T line. BABA. BABA might be reversing. Now you've got the little best friend signal, and this is why you'd be suspecting a change of direction. You had the big bullish engulfing signal, had failed. Now you started seeing another buy signal right at the same level. That tells you the bulls are starting to come in here. I would rather pay for it up through today's high, because that would tell me that was confirming this signal and breaking out of this downward trend channel. BIDA, nothing here yet. You stay short until you see a buy signal. LinkedIn. Another one where you stay short. This is one where if you were short, you'd probably use a positive open tomorrow to come back out. If it opens lower for a bearish J-hook, and I'm sorry, a bearish doji sandwich, excuse me, you want to be going short. Hold on, I'm going to get a sip here. Okay, no. SVU, all you can do on this one is stay long. Notice how it's broken out through this resistance level with a little kicker signal. Just stay long. Notice not only is it staying above the T line, but it's staying above the 3T line, which is a 3 exponential moving average. I'm telling you pretty much that they're still in a strong uptrend. APH, kicker type signal off the T line today. Another one where you just stay long. PLT, Plantronics, notice the J-hook pattern off the T line, breaking out into new territory. Wave 1, look for wave 3 to take you up another 45 to 54, up about the $63, $64 area. NTLS, big bearish engulfing signal. This one you should have closed out with it closing back below the T line and your stochastics rolling over, telling you this big pattern is not confirming. You want to be out of that trade. SANM. This one you can be buying on positive trading. There's your left-right combo. There's your J-hook pattern. You can be buying this one on positive trading, breaking out through this area, and just continue to use the T-line as your stop. Oops. MTSN. You can buy this one on positive trading, doing the J-hook pattern after a bunch of dojis down here, and then just don't let it close back below the T-line. SGEN, just stay long. Notice the big bullish engulfing signal that broke you out into new territory. BRTX, another one you can be buying on the J-hook pattern. It would be breaking out into new territory on positive trading tomorrow. Same one with Sigma. Look for a 45 degree to come off of here. SELN. This one you can be buying. Notice what happened today. Yesterday they took it all the way down, or Friday they took it all the way down to the T line, consolidating. Today they told you the consolidation had stopped. You can be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow. And VRTX, another J-hook pattern in progress. You can buy this one on positive trading. That looks familiar. Did I already do that one? Apparently I did. And SZYM. This one you should have closed out today with it closing back below the T line. We did the same thing with BCLI. Close that one out because notice the trajectory. The trajectory should have been going this way. Close this one out. ALTR. This is your best friend. Starting a J-hook. You can be buying this one. Wave 1 was approximately 5 points. Look for this to move up into about the $41 or $42 area. Abbott. Stay long on this one, especially if it opens positive. Chesapeake. You have a left-right combo, so if you're buying this one, if it opens positive, you just be very conscious of what it does once it gets to the T-line. If it fails, you come back out. Yes, the T-line is your first target. GI or GAIA, you stay long on this one. If it trades positive and breaks this handle right here, you've got a scoop pattern in progress. Notice the reverse signals here. Doji, inverted hammer, Doji, bullish confirmation. Stay long. Dix. All you can do here is stay long as it stays above the T-line. UTH, you stay long on this one. However, where do most people buy? They buy exuberantly at the top. Start watching for your sell signal. You definitely should have your stop at today's open. Start watching to see if you start seeing a sell signal. That's the same thing we're doing in CEMP. Notice the steady uptrend, and then we had a doji up here at the top. That thing is just driving me to drink, isn't it? If it opens lower tomorrow, we're going to take profits because more than likely they'll come back down and test the T-line. Same thing with SWKS. Big move to the top. On the top up here, we'll start watching for a potential sell signal. TMF. You can be buying this one on positive trading after the island reversal. Notice you had still your doji gap up through the T-line. FOMX. Stay long on this one, Victor. And CXO. This one, if you're getting ready to buy, there's your left-right combo. This one you can buy on positive trading, breaking out through the 50 tomorrow and this downtrending channel. You can draw a straight line from the top right on down. If it breaks that, the next target is the 200-day moving average. Tesla. Tesla, you get ready to buy this one on positive trading. It's got to break that downtrending channel. Click. I would be more apt to buy this at 1660, knowing that it broke out. If you're buying this one, you just have to watch the resistance level to see what it will see what it needs to break out through that level. Ford. Ford you can be buying. There's your doji sandwich after your best friend signal, J-hook pattern. Buy this on positive trading. You definitely buy it if it breaks out through this level. And ARIA, J-hook pattern in progress. I would use, I just stay long as it stays above the T-line. Say, I think we did NX, this one. Yes, breaking out of the fry pan bottom, you stay long. DYAX, also very simple. This one needs to open positive. I would use today's low. If it starts trading down, they're going to come back and test the T-line because they've pretty much come up right to the top of the channel. Either they're breaking out on a positive open or they're resisting. You'll know that by how they open it tomorrow. FXCM. Oh, let's make this bigger. Well, you can be buying this one on positive trading. You can see the fry pan bottom in progress. Let's see. Martha Stewart. Oh, this is not Martha Stewart. This is Moody's. Moody's, I would be more apt to buy this if it broke up through the $99 level, breaking out through this level, which percentage-wise isn't all that far away. FNGN, just stay long. ACET, whoops, ACET. Another one all you can do is stay long as it stays above the T-line. Big fry pan bottom. Still has some work to do to get to the breakout area. KRO, get ready for the doji sandwich. I would put a buy stop above today's high because if it breaks out through there, doji sandwich is going to take you up to the 200. ACAD, nothing here that would want me to get in or out at this point. When a chart doesn't look good one way or the other, move on to something else. This one I would move on to something else. GSAT, all you can do here is stay long. Notice how it's using the T-line as support and the 200 is not acting as resistance. MGA, you can be buying this one. You had 3 or 4 days of indecisive trading. You can buy this one on positive trading, breaking that downward trend channel. And Mobley, stay long on this one. They took out some sellers today and brought it right back up. If it opens positive, breaking this level, there's going to be more upside. Apple hasn't gotten out of the woods yet, but if it does open higher and it breaks this downward trend channel, you can start buying, because now you have wave 1, wave 2 going into wave 3. Notice the bullish Harami a couple of days ago telling you the selling has stopped. Home Depot, this one you can buy. It's not very exciting as far as price movement, but it's in an uptrend. And lumber liquidators, still probably want to go short on this one, especially notice the little kicker signal failure at the T-line. Doji sandwich setup. If it opens lower, they're still taking this one down. And I'm going to put a little star next to that because that's probably a good option play. And FEYE. Whoops, how did I get this too small? Another one that if you're short, you stay short. But if it comes back up through today's high, that tells you that they are taking it back up, breaking this downward trend channel on the T-line. Close it out. Use the T-line as your stop. It shouldn't trade up above there tomorrow. BSLR, if it has to open positive and trade positive. Notice your left-right combo. Told you if there was weakness, they were going to take it to the T-line. Now you have to see if the T-line is going to hold, which means it has to open positive tomorrow to stay in it. If it opens lower, you close it out. You can always buy it back if it comes back up through the T-line. Amazon, you should be out of it long, but right now, if you were short, I would definitely be ready to cover my short position if it started trading positive tomorrow. And Nubo, you should have been out of this one today. You had your shoot or your dojis in the overbought condition confirmed. They're going to bring it back to the T-line at least. So you should have been out here to see what it was going to do at the T-line. You could go short on this one on any weakness tomorrow. An AFSI needs to stay above the T-line to stay in it. Again, not a very exciting stock percentage-wise, but it needs to stay above the T-line to stay long. And BRCM, there's your left-right combo, smack dab off the 50. This is why we have the visual benefit of seeing exactly what they're doing at major support and resistance levels. This is not an unusual situation. They break the resistance level. They come back to see if it's going to act as support. We could see immediately with a left-right combo that we're in a strong price move. Next target is right here at the top. Then you see if it breaks through that level. Brocade, bullish left-right combo after a little hammer signal. This one you can be buying on positive trading. That should go to the top of the trend channel, taking up into about the 1350 range. And Alta, this one, notice the slow curve, big breakout. Consolidation. Now, if they open this positive tomorrow, you can be buying because that tells you they're continuing the breakout. Big lots. Just stay long. Not an exciting stock, but a nice steady uptrend. MEIP. If it's failing the T-line, notice where your stochastics are. They're not in the overbought condition. So the worst case scenario is if it opens weaker tomorrow, you close it, but then you just watch the T-line and see if you're in a T-line crunch. If you close it out on weakness, you can always buy it back if it comes back up through the 200 over the next couple of days. And if it does, you've got a J-hook pattern breakout, which means you're going much higher. CNW, I would suspect with the bullish signals in your pattern, your next target is the 200. CSIQ. This one has to open positive and trade positive to stay in it or get in it. If it opens lower tomorrow, you close out the position. And CYTX, another J-hook pattern in progress. Make sure your volume is all right. Maria, just email me with your phone number. We'll figure out what's happening. And that comes back to anybody that's having problems, not making money. Remember, it's not the system that is not working because the system works. Sometimes we just have to figure out how to interpret the system. So, and that's what kept me in candlesticks all these years is I knew the system worked. When I wasn't making money, I'd say, all right, what am I doing wrong here? What can I do? So if you're having problems, don't be afraid to email me. Just send me your phone number. We'll get on the phone and kind of rattle through to see what's going on. REXX, you stay short. You can't be short because it's below $5. I wouldn't be buying this one until it comes back up above the T-line. TEVO, what about TIVO? TiVo, you stay short on this one. Juno, you can be buying this one on a J-hook pattern. FRAN, this one you buy on positive trading. Moving in the direction of how they open it after a doji, after the big gap up, breaking out this downward trend channel. Notice where this bottomed out, right smack dab. This is why the 50 doesn't matter because where was our first target? The 50. We would have been buying down here, breaking this downward trend channel off the little buy signals here. Oh, Maria, on Robbins, yes, they are. I'm working with them right now. They had some of their formulas that wasn't coinciding with what I gave them. So we're definitely, I'm told them to stop trading until they get my formulas back in place. So anybody else that's in Robbins, we're getting that straightened out. They've got some of their formulas, I don't know whether it's over aggressive or under aggressive. GDX, nothing here yet. You can be buying this one when it does close back up above the T-line. JRJC needed to get back up above the T-line, which it hasn't been able to do yet. I would anticipate they're coming back down to the 50. And BIN. BIN, you can be buying this one on positive trading. You can see the slow curve coming off the doji, gap up, left-right combo, closing above the 50. You can buy this on positive trading. And TESO, another one you should be buying on positive trading, anticipating the fry pan bottom breakout. It's probably BCLI that you're looking for. This one should have been closed out today. Let's see, did we do BRCM? This one you buy on positive trading. XIV. XIV, you can buy this one on positive trading, breaking out of the little downtrending channel, confirming the J-hook pattern. And EWC, nothing here until it does close above the T-line. AMRN, notice the gap up. Anytime you see a gap up in the overbought condition, and look how far away you were from the T-line, this is definitely where I would have flipped to my 10-minute chart. And if I didn't have a stop, when it opened positive and came right back here, I immediately put my stop here. It shouldn't come back down through the previous day's close when you're that far above the T-line. And AMGN, this one you can be buying on the J-hook pattern. Notice a little left-right combo right here, followed by a gap up, kind of out of the scoop pattern. You stay long on this one. I've talked with Abraham twice, and last week he has no knowledge all about the Pro Scan Pack customer support. Has not been any help either. He was supposed to get you to Hubert's customer support. Steve, email Steve at Candlestick Forum and remind me tomorrow. We'll track it down for you. FXCM. Did we do that one? Get ready to buy this one on positive trading. U.S. Steel. Stay short. Nothing here yet. IIVI. Slow curve. You can be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow. The slow curve. Get ready for a breakout. I'm going to put a little star next to that one. Anytime I see these slow curves, I know the upside potential are huge. The downside is if it fizzles, you close it right out. I think we did Apple, we did BABA, SCC. Slow curve, you can buy this one on positive trading. Look for the 200 as your target. Cypress needed to open positive, but it hasn't broken the fry pan bottom trajectory. You stay long on this as long as it stays above the T-line. And SanDisk. SanDisk, you can stay long on this one using the T-line as your stop. Netflix, you stay short. Notice what your signals had to be, a buy signal and a close above the T-line, and never got there. Where was your target? Probably the 200-day moving average or the 50, which is where it is right now. If you're short, you stay short, but if you see some buying from this level, pretty much tells you that that you're going to be supporting on the 200-day moving average. ExxonMobil, left-right combo. Now, there might be some truth to the rumor that they're buying out Whiting, which would probably give them a very, very strong reserve for the company. ENPH, nothing here. If you're short, you stay short. Notice you're selling over here, but then this is your bearish engulfing signal. You stay short until you see a close back up above the T-line. JetBlue. Front row. JetBlue. Kicker types, or doji sandwich, gap up, stay long on this one. Hey, you stay long on this one. There's your flutter kicker. It didn't close below the T line. You want to be buying this one. SPR, another one where you can get ready to buy this one. If it comes back up through today's high, that would tell you it's breaking out of the slow curve. Be ready to buy that one. Let's see. Thank you, Don. Yes, anybody having problems with the indicator package, call Hubert. He's got the customer service there that's supposed to be helping people install. After the reversal signal is always tested again. Is that correct? After reversal signal, it is always tested again. Is that correct? Nanda, I don't understand the question, but no, not all. After the reversal signal, that is the reversal signal. It won't usually come back and test it. It shouldn't come back and test it. That's telling you there's been a change of an investor sentiment. Burlington, stay long, but as you can see, you've got a bearish engulfing signal right back at the T-line. It has to open positive and trade positive. If it opens lower, you close it out. Then if it does something like this, you buy it back, because remember, as long as it closes above the T-line, you're in an uptrend. Let's see, I think we did Alta. Buy this one on positive trading. We did BCLI, Hawaiian Air, slow curve, fry pan bottom. You can buy this on positive trading with the anticipation they'll take it up to the 200-day moving average. And kicker type signal on the breakout and on TG. Stay long on this one. Jern. Jern, evening star signal. Big up day in the overbought area, indecision day, and closing more than halfway down. You want to be out of this one. They're going to come back and test the T-line. You can always buy back if they hold the T-line. And PE, Parsley Energy. I hope that's not what happens when you eat too much parsley. You can buy this one. Just watch what it does once it gets to the 200-day moving average. Which of your books would you recommend for better understanding of candlesticks and patterns with examples? High Profit Candlestick Patterns, the green cover one. On Sigma, can you anticipate moves like this today? Is this a T-line crunch? No, but you could anticipate that if they opened it and traded positive after the doji sitting smack dab on the T-line, that you're going to trade positive. Not that you would have anticipated this type of move, but as I've often suggested to people, that it puts you in positions with a high probability that you're going to move in the right direction, which also puts you in positions where if you're going to be in a lot more bigger price moves than just because you're in the right position at the right time based upon the previous chart pattern. Once, all you can do here is stay long. At this point, stay long. I would use today's open as your stop. It shouldn't come back below that level. An island reversal, oh boy, I forget which one it was. But an island reversal is where you see a gap down and maybe a few days of trading and they gap it back up so you could draw a circle all the way around that island without hitting any of the trading. And Gimmo, stay long if you own it, but if you're going to buy it, I'd rather pay $22 for it knowing that it broke out to the upside. Will you be training us on option entry on stocks? Will you be training us on option entry on stocks? That's kind of a double conundrum, isn't it? You're talking about option strategies on stocks? Yes, we'll be doing some of those. We're probably going to be doing a few more Saturdays because we run out of time during the week, but we'll probably do the spreads. We'll probably do an option training session here. Probably, if you remind me in the chat room, I'll try to schedule one for next week. ISIS, there's a J-hook pattern with a doji sandwich, which tells us there's going to be more upside, and if there's more upside, they're going to break out through here, which tells us we're now in wave 3. And W-wave, also a good-looking chart. If this opens positive tomorrow, especially if it comes back up through today's high, you want to be buying. This one you want to be buying, FC or FXCM. Thank you, Don. Yes. Let's see, Pandora. Pandora had a breakout. This is probably a doji sandwich, which means if it comes back up through today's open, you want to be buying. The breakout's in progress. The oil fund is still heading down. Crude is still heading down. I think we did pay. Pay you can be buying on positive trading. Let's see, did we do the VIX? The VIX isn't coming up over here. Sure that's the right symbol. WBA. Breakout, J-hook pattern, stay long. Vuzi, I've never seen that one before. That one you can buy on positive trading. Notice when they came back today, they touched the T-line and bounced back up, telling you they're not going to trade back below the T-line. And LBHM, nothing here yet. You do have a little bullish harami. I wouldn't buy this until it comes back up through the T-line. The gap, if I did this wrong, gap's not coming up. Let's try it like this. No, just not coming up. Rite Aid. Oh, man, I kept you way over time. Rite Aid, you stay short until you see a close back up above the T-line. All right, Judy, we'll see you next time. Left-right combo is a doji followed by a bullish engulfing signal. See, we did JetBlue, we did those. That was Chiva. Oh, I'm sorry, you are right. You can stay in this one. It's in a 45 degree. At this time, you just stay long as it stays above the 3T line. You can take profits if it comes down through the 3T line. But if you want to hold a longer term, you don't have to, you can hold it until it closes back below the T line. We did Burlington. That's another thing, too. We've got EDC in here. If you need scans of an individual one, just ask Ed. If he doesn't have it already, he can formulate it up for you very quickly. If I usually put my stop, if you're way up in the overbought condition, and that's the criteria. Once you get above your stochastics above 80, then I start putting my stop below the previous day's open. I'm confused with your advice. Sometimes you say hang on to the stock until it closes. And if you're fairly close to the T-line, I mean, if you're not that far away from the T-line, you just stay with it. But if you've moved away from the T line, that's when you start putting your stop below the previous day's open. Adobe you can buy on positive trading tomorrow. That's a good Morningstar signal. GPS, I wouldn't. That's the gap. All right, that I wouldn't be long or short. You can see you're in a wedge formation. It's not going anywhere. And WABA right now you stay short until you see it close above the T line. And same thing with WCRW. Why? How did that? That's because I goofed up. WRCW. You stay short, but if it opens positive tomorrow, you close them out. We did Adobe. Kroger had been in a nice steady eddy, and it came back up. You're still in the steady eddy. So anytime you see this, you close it out. Anytime you see this back up above the T line after this type of performance, you go back long again. For silver, I wouldn't be long or short right now until they tell you which way they're going to go. Disney, you stay long on this. It's not a very exciting stock, but you can stay long on this one. Ooh, China Cord Blood Corporation. Yucko. Right now it wouldn't be long or short. There's no direction here. And QRVO, that's got a little kicker signal. J-hook, you can stay long on this one. On Sigma, I had a stop at 760. Waited for like 10 days. A buy stop. Oh, okay. So if you got executed today, you're in good shape. That's what it's supposed to do. Any concern over the absence of history? Yeah, it's apparently a fairly new offering. I'm not familiar with this one, but right now it looks like you just stay long as it stays above the T line. I don't receive Saturday webinar emails. How do I get added to it? You should be on it. If you're in here, SK, you should be getting emails. Yeah, we do a night of scanning, and that's just so you understand what the scanning does. Then you've got scanning capabilities in TC2000, Metastock, NinjaTrader, Thinkorswim, TradeStation. I think they're working on E-Trade right now. So we do the scanning so you understand what the scanning is going to do for you and how to use each one of them, your individual ones. This is the VIX. Stay short till you see a buy signal and a close above the T line. And TVIX, still the short, double short, stay short. Yahoo, oh, it's not Yahoo. This is Yahoo. Yahoo's having a hard time getting out of its own way here. It's in a sideways mode. I would rather pay, ooh, this is good, right up here, knowing that it's starting to break out through this congestion area. We did WBA. Okay, and Slumberger. Left-right combo, but you still don't do anything long on this until it comes back up above the T line. ADHD, we were out of this one because it couldn't, even with the belt hold, they couldn't get it back up above the T line. Yes. We did Wava, we did SanDisk, Las Vegas Sands. Nothing here. If you're short, you should be ready to cover this on any positive trading from here. You shouldn't be going long until it closes above the T line. And CERN, there's your flutter kicker type, not flutter kicker, but doji sandwich, you're right smack dab on this resistance level. If it opens positive, it's breaking out. Look for another move like this. APT, stay short. Hey, you can't stay short. You don't want to be in this one. Are you using the 3T line or 8T for your screens? The 8T, the T line. The 3T is more for when the price starts moving too far away from the T line. Nike, I wouldn't be long or short. That's not a very exciting stock at all. Oh, pshaw. Ago. This one I'd rather pay 27 bucks for, knowing it broke out of this sideways mode. If you're long right now, you can stay long, but just watch to see what it does once it gets to the $27 resistance level. Nucor, you can be buying this one with the anticipation you're heading up to the 200, but it has to get up above the 20, which also would be breaking this little downward trend channel. I have the Nucor T-line for Nucor at 47.03. Is that what you have? Yeah, it looks pretty much like it. Yes. Right about that same level. It closed today at 47.30. Yep. So do the last 3 days candles have a pattern name? Not really. There's really nothing there other than you're in this trend channel. That's why it definitely has to break out through the top of the trend channel. There's nothing there that would get me excited about buying this one. Juniper, that's a big belt hold, bullish engulfing type signal, smack dab off the 50. Same support area that it did a bullish engulfing signal before. You get ready to buy this one on positive trading tomorrow. And silver, Wheaton, needs to get back up above the T-line. If you're short, you probably covered the short after your bullish engulfing signal that far away from the T-line, telling you they were probably going to come back up and test the T-line. You can always re-short this on a lower open tomorrow and start in the bearish J-hook pattern. I think we did this one, right? Yeah, you stay long on this one. That's a little kicker signal breakout. ALK, this one you can be buying on positive trading also, coming off the slow curve, bouncing off the 50. Okay, Richard. We're all ready. I've kept everybody way past their bedtime. A belt hold is where it gaps way below. What was the one that had a belt hold? No, that wasn't it. A belt hold opens way below the trading range. I've lost it. Forgot to do ANET. ANET, that's a nice slow curve. You buy this one on positive trading tomorrow. XLU, you can buy this one on positive trading, breaking this downward trend channel. Really doesn't have any clean signals here, but it definitely bottoming. Yeah, ADHD had a belt hold that didn't confirm. This is a belt hold. Notice where the trading range was, and it opened way below the trading range and came back into it. Confirmation was if they got it above the T-line, that told you they wiped out a lot of sellers. This case is telling you they didn't confirm it. JNPR. Kind of a belt hold. Notice where they were trading up here and they gapped it way down here. It's still kind of in the trading range, but notice where they opened it, right smack dab on the 50, and opened way down here and came right back up again. That tells you they wiped out a lot of sellers in here, which means there's no sellers in front of them anymore, making the uptrend in progress. All right. Okay, with that, let's call it a night. Everybody have a good evening. We'll see you all in the chat rooms tomorrow. I'll have the picks out a little bit later tonight. All right, we'll see you then.